This fireside chat was recorded live at AI House on January 21st with Jason Thane, CEO of GenUI. In this final section, titled Getting Help, Scaling Responsibly, and What Comes Next, we zoom out to the decisions that shape everything that comes next. Jason shares how founders should think about getting help, when to bring in experienced engineers, what kind of support actually makes sense, and how production ready means very different things at different stages of a company. We close with practical guidance on the few actions founders can take in the next 30 days to move forward responsibly without creating long-term pain. This section is about leverage, timing, and setting yourself up to scale with confidence.
Section 3 is getting help. All right. So we're at this stage now. We feel like we're seeing some traction. We're doing some of these small use cases, but now we need some help. So one way is to call you and have a team like yours help, but there's lots of different ways that people can do it. There's fractional, there's bringing people onto your team, there's going overseas. Let's talk about all the different ways that you've seen and some of the things to look out for along the way.
Yeah. So I think that, again, every founder should get as immersed in the details as possible for as long as possible. Technical or non-technical, you need to know your business. You need to know the numbers. You need to know them cold. You really need to know the user. That's really important. That said, as the business gains traction and as you're leveling up, you need help because there's just a lot to do. And as you go looking for the right people to work with, early on, you want people with that founder mentality. One way to say it is you don't want a mercenary, you want a patriot. You want somebody who's really there because they believe in the vision, they believe in your values, they share your values, they want to, be a part of where you're going. Out there in the world, there are a lot of agencies, there are a lot of contractors, there are staff augmentation, things like that. These are generally people who just want to come in, write code, and get a paycheck and go home. And there can be a role for folks like that in any technology company, but it's not early and it's not at a startup. I really think that the right thing to do is find like-minded people who share the vision, who share the entrepreneurial mindset, who share the the co-founder mindset. Probably avoid just sort of off the shelf kind of go write some code.
Let's talk about team size, because one of the things about SuperSmall and some of the original ideas was our excitement around being able to stay small but dream big. And I feel like in the last 2 years, that's more possible now than it used to be. And you remember the days where you wanted to build some software, you had to hire a bunch of people, and they were $15,000 a month and got expensive real fast. That's changing. And I've talked to a lot of VCs that also are realizing that the teams can be kind of quite small to do things. And so can you talk a little bit about team size and as people start seeing traction and building their teams?
It is really exciting to see that change because I, started my career and spent the majority of it, in that earlier era when you have bigger teams. We've always believed in smaller teams, but that smaller teams idea is getting even smaller. And, Sam Altman at OpenAI is predicting that there will be $1 billion company with one employee, in the next few years. And I think it's possible. That person is still going to be extremely busy. And has anybody heard of Gastown? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
tell us
there's
about
a video on X last week of somebody at some wedding somewhere firing a pistol celebratory way up in the air, and everybody else ducking. And the caption was, "This is what Claude Code is like with no no guardrails." And then the founder of Gastown, who's local here in town in Kirkland, chimed in and said, "Yeah, it's like that, but times 20." And so Gastown is an agentic coordination layer that you can use to build products and you can use to build software. But it really is vibe coding to the max. You have
multiple agents, everything going on steroids.
Yeah. One agent is the mayor of Gastown. Other agents are, it's all taken for Mad Max because it's that crazy and you have to be that careless. But, agents are polecats or agents that do certain things. And there are various roles within Gastown. But one important thing is you have to not be worried about your bill from Claude. because you're just invoking tons and tons of agents. So if there is a single person founder that scales a company to $1 billion, it's going to be a gas tank kind of situation. So it'll be crazy. Maybe the AIs will be, so reliable by then we can do it. But I would say that what's happening is acceleration, right? When you vibe and you pair with an agent, you get acceleration. And with any product in any business, the more you do, the more there is to do. Is Microsoft Windows done? Well, maybe that was my old example. Maybe it's done now. But these software packages, these products continue for a very, very long way. And the more you explore, the more you want to do, the more users you can reach, the more features you can have, the more territory you can claim. And if you're the CEO of that vibed organization with all these different roles, you still have to manage a lot of information.
Yep.
So even though we're moving fast, I don't think it's going to be a matter of not having complexity in the organization, not having complexity in your head. Maybe there's a point where the AIs do everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about that because, we're going to be living a different lifestyle by then.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I'm going to ask one more question, and then we're going to kind of open it up because I want to take advantage of all the questions that people have. But if a founder only did 3 things in the next 30 days to responsibly move from prototype to some sort of production-ready thing, what would those 3 things be?
Yeah, the most important one, number one, I would always say talk to your users, talk to your user base, find out where they are, and just talk to them. It's great if you can show them a prototype. You can show them even a screenshot or a sketch or a pencil drawing, but talk to them. Don't take what they say literally. Don't really believe everything you hear because, if Henry Ford asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Take it with a grain of salt and understand that most of them are not going to get it, right? None of them have thought about it as much as you have, but you can get valuable and you should get valuable information from them. Understand who they are, what they want, infer what they need. Don't get discouraged if they say, yeah, that's a terrible idea, never use it. You just need to either ask them in a different way, ask them about a different angle, or ask different people because there are people out there who will get it. But you got to talk to them.
Yep. All right, that's number 1.
Number 2 is to really, really think about what your product hypothesis is. Write it down. Write it big in a whiteboard somewhere. Look at it every day. Really refine it to be narrow and specific. Again, as a founder, your goal is going to be your natural implication is tendency is going to be to overcomplicate it. So, So refine it, keep it simple, and remember that when you go to production, you go to market, you are testing that one thing because that's what you're going to double down on. So a lot of founders have this feeling when they make their MVP that I've reached the finish line. Mm-hmm. It's very tempting to feel like, oh, I put in all this work, I made the thing, I'm at the finish line. Only it's not the finish line. That is the starting line, right? So you have to do all that work just to get to the starting line, and then the third thing is just to simplify the heck out of it. I think if you want to go to production, one of the best ways to get there is particularly if you're stuck in, I need another week, I need another 2 weeks to get ready to go to production, go to these users. Just simplify, cut stuff out. You're not losing it. You're delaying it. You're just putting it on hold for now. You don't need to test the moon and the stars and the sun. Just test one thing because that's how you're going to get the most signal. You're going to build the most confidence in understanding your user base, understanding your market, understanding what it is you're actually doing.
Yep.